Listen, it says that the prophet says that these weeks will be transformed to joy and to happiness and to feasting and okay. Well, it's going to happen. It should happen. If you ask me, the whole business is unnecessary. I'm sure you know the story. I'm telling you all these. You get these free stories today. It says in the book of Sefer Minhagim of Chabad customs. It talks about Tisha B'av, so it brings a story there, a very unusual story. Brings a story, and he brings a story from, if I'm not story, I think it's the Ruzhin, Rebbe Yisrael Ruzhin, that his Hasidim. And in general, the Hasidim did not treat Tisha B'av with sadness. They tried not to be sad in general. But even though on Tisha B'av you're supposed to mourn for the temple, so okay, they mourned. But so they used to do a trick. They put a big net on the floor in front of the door, behind the door. In other words, anyone who would come in to the synagogue, so they would have to step on this net. And they had it intricately. I don't exactly understand how they did it, but they had the net somehow or other attached above that they could pull the net up, and whoever was in the net would be lifted up like, a couple feet. And as a result, the person would sort of tumble around inside of the net. And that would give everybody enjoyment. But everybody was, and there was, don't be too serious. Anyway, so that's what they did. And Yankel came in, and Shmerel came in, and everybody came in, and they lifted it up. Haha, and the guy laughed. And he laughed, everybody laughed. Anyway, unexpectedly, the Rebbe came in. And anybody who stepped in, they just did the thing. So the Rebbe stepped in, and they pulled the thing up, and they realized, oh, what have we done? What have we done? They let the Rebbe down, and they all sort of hid behind whatever tables and chairs. And they were very, they were very ashamed and scared, what they did. And the Ruzhiner lifted up his hands and he said, King of the universe, says, if your children don't know how to honor your Tisha B'av properly, so take the holiday back from them. Take it away. Right? Take it. They don't know how to. They didn't know how to honor the Holy Temple. You took it away, so they don't know how to honor Tisha B'av. Right? They're not mourning. So take the holiday away. Build the third temple, and we won't have Tisha B'av. We can do without Tisha B'av. Okay, let's go. Now we're going back to what we learned yesterday, and that is a speech. We're continuing the speech that the Lubavitcher Rebbe gave in 1991. And it's in this week's Torah portion, Parshat Pinchas. And it talks about, one of the subjects that's in it is the dividing of the land of Israel. And the land of Israel was divided by Elazar HaKohen, the high priest. He would put on the Urim and the Tumim, the special breastplate, and it would tell by Holy Spirit what tribe would get which portion, how to divide the land of each, because each of the 12 tribes got their portion. And who would go where, which part of Israel would get to which one. So it was decided. But in addition to this, they also drew lots. And there were, 24 lots. 12 of them were the names of the tribes. 12 of them were the areas. They would draw 2 lots, and it would correspond exactly to what this Elazar HaKohen said. And the lots themselves would scream out, I am the lot of Reuven. My portion is portion number 5, whatever other. And it came out exactly right. So the Rebbe said, one second, they already had Elazar HaKohen. He decided what it was. Why do they have to have the lots? And why do they have to be this a seemingly unnecessary miracle that the lots called out? And so the Rebbe explained, because true, the lots were only a means to divide up the land of Israel, and seemingly they were an incidental means. They weren't really necessary, but it came to tell us that what seems to be incidental and non-important to achieve a positive goal, even though it seems to be non-important, it's just a means, but nevertheless, the means are important as well. And in other words, every detail of our life, no matter how seemingly unimportant it is in fact very, very important and should be imbued with appreciation of the Creator. It's a miracle. Everything that happens is miraculous. Everything, every detail. Provided it's going in the right direction. But when Moshiach comes, we'll see that somehow or other, everything that happened in the history of the world, every detail was going in the right direction. Even the sins, even the bad things, even the Jews worshiping the golden calf, and etc. All of it was somehow or other a preparation for the creation, for the Mashiach coming. All of it. And Mashiach's big job is going to be, like we just finished learning, that people will appreciate God and they'll appreciate the Torah and that they'll appreciate life and nothing will be taken for granted. And everything will be imbued with happiness. You'll be happy to be alive. You'll be happy to be normal, to flow. You'll be able to flow with reality. Knowing that God, once you know the general the general framework of what the world is, you can flow just like in anything, right? You know the rules of chess. You can play chess. You don't know the rules. You can't. Are you a good chess player? You're a bad chess player? That's up to you, right? You know the rules of basketball or of tennis or whatever. You know the rules. Now you know the rules. You can flow. You can go with it. How much of a player are you? Okay, in chess, in basketball, or whatever. So it's clear who the winner is because you have an opposition and the goals are very clear. You just put the thing. But in life, it doesn't work that way. Everyone is a winner. Everyone is a winner, and you're not fighting against anyone. If anything, you're fighting against your own indifference. And if you become interested, then you're a winner. Then you're a winner. And everything that you do that's positive is another goal. Is another, how do you call it? Another point, if you want to call it. A point. A point toward what? A point toward now. Toward meaning. Every second is meaningful. And in life, I guess you gather more and more points up so that life becomes more and more and more meaningful all the time. More godly. You think less about yourself and you appreciate more other people and incidents that happen in the world. And you want to improve the world. Do good. Nowadays, there's a whole series of videos of people that go around and give money to poor people. You ever see this? They give money to poor people. They give $100. They give a $5. Sometimes they go to a restaurant. They say, I don't have any food. I don't have any money. Can I have something to eat? And the worker behind says, sure. Here, take. You don't have to pay anything. He says, well, I'd like to give you something. He gives $100. Oh, the people are so happy, right? They get a free gift. That's a wonderful thing. They feel happy to do good for people. But he doesn't give everybody $1 million so that they go berserk like this. He gives them an amount of money that they can really appreciate, that they really need. Okay, I'm not saying that that's what we should do, go around giving money, but sometimes just saying good morning to people and giving money is also. Giving money to a poor person on the streets, a very wonderful thing. If the whole world could just be convinced to give charity, then it would be a wonderful world. And not only that, to realize the tremendous benefit that the giver receives by giving charity, that he becomes a human being. He gives another point of meaning in his life. Okay, so that's what he says. That's the whole idea of the lots. The lots, why they called out, is because to realize that every little detail in life, even the insignificant things that just seem to be a step for something else, they are really important and holy. So you're taking a bus to go to work. So the bus is holy. Stand up, give your place to an old lady, to a whatever it is. Be helpful to people. Say good morning. Somebody takes your place. Don't get mad at him. Don't. Well, but you'd be amazed how much good thoughts can help. I mean, good thoughts can just change the whole entire atmosphere of wherever you are. Okay. But Dvar, why is it so we said that's an idea of a panimi. A panimi means a person who's genuine. A genuine person, the Hasidim used to say, a genuine person is a person that whatever he does, wherever he is, he's totally in to that situation. Nothing happens by accident. To make the best of every situation. Panini is munach lagamri. He is in everything that he does. Afilu avoda. Now, again, this is not a thing which is like only for special people. This is the way everybody can be, and the way everybody already should be. It's just because we get confused or whatever that we're not that way. But really, this is just normal. A normal person should just feel gratitude to the Creator and should make the most of every situation that he's in. Even what is a preface to something else. Why is it that a genuine person has to have this quality of being totally involved and positively in everything, even the steps to the thing that is his goal? Why? Masber, the Kaveh Kodesh Ori Admor Nishmas Edom, the fifth Rebbe of Chabad, explains in his speech two reasons. Zem, or this shows that if you are totally involved in every moment of your, don't take anything for granted, and you're always trying to improve every situation and to appreciate every situation that you're in every moment, as Zem more, this shows al emet v'panimiyut. This shows on what the true inside of this person is. That where is the person found? This is real and internal. And there's a person can let's say, take the example of giving speeches, give speeches about honesty and honesty, but all of a sudden things happen, surprises that you weren't expecting. Especially this is with a road rage, right? You can be the most calm person in the world. All of a sudden, someone cuts you off unexpectedly. It's not like you got a phone call and say, "Hello, I'm going to cut you off in 3 minutes. I heard your lecture that you gave. I want to see if you get aggravated or not." So, okay, now you're prepared. Guy cuts you off. You don't get excited because you know you were prepared. But things don't happen that way in life. And all of a sudden, surprises happen. All of a sudden, you feel depressed. All of a sudden, somebody cuts you off. All of a sudden, somebody gets you angry. All of a sudden, something draws your attention. You have lust for something. If every moment you're thinking about what does God want me to do in this situation? How can I improve the situation? How can I appreciate it? So this shows on who the person really is, where you really found in your insides. And those surprises, why do the surprises make you crazy? Because you're really always thinking about yourself. You're really, the axiom in life is that I exist. But if your axiom, the basis of your life is you feel that God is a miracle, so then anything that happens to you, is, so to speak, it's happening to God's creation. It's not happening to me. But is only by means of completing this yiklan. But when a person really is, even in the preparatory steps, even in the preparatory steps for your goal, if you also pay attention to those things and treat them as being special and for holy, then this shows on excuse me, that where you are, I'm sorry, by means of that all your preparations are done with the proper attitude, then you will be you will be absorbed properly. The goal, when you reach the goal, you'll appreciate the goal also in completion. Because you've done a true preparation. The more that you prepare yourself, you can think more about in the future. Let's excuse me one second, sorry. Let's say you can get maybe the example, getting married. People get married. What do they think about? What am I going to wear? Where's where are we going to live? Where's the wedding going to be? What type of band should we get? The flowers we should have? I want to look good. She wants to have a nice dress. She wants to look good. And they think, why am I getting married? So that I'll feel good and I'll have somebody to cook for me and I'll have a partner. Okay, these are all good things, but that's not really the inside of the business. What is supposed to be the idea of marriage? Making a family. That's supposed to be the real idea of making a marriage. In addition to all these other things. These other things are fine. You have to look good and you'll have to feel good. But the main thing is to have a family. Is this a person that I can have a family with, right? Is this a person I can live with for the rest of my life? Is this right? What does this? What type of a human being is this? What does marriage really mean? Right? What is harmony? What is love? What is appreciation? What is honoring the other person? Right? What happens when I don't appreciate the other person? When I don't feel good? When she doesn't cook for meals for me? If there isn't a family? If we isn't anything, then what do we got? We just have two human beings. What is a human being? What does it mean to be a human being? How to appreciate another human being? Right? Then that's really a proper preparation for the whole thing. What does God say about the thing? How can I improve myself? What am I thinking about what I'm receiving? What about what I'm giving? I should improve myself. I should be more thankful, more grateful, more helpful. By means of this, a person prepares himself for not just getting married, but also for the marriage itself, for the family, for building something that's much greater than me, to do God's will. Now, God wants us to get married. Why does he want us to get married? So there'll be peace in the world, there'll be harmony in the world, there'll be love in the world. So that's just an example. We're saying that all the steps necessary as preparation, those steps themselves are also holy. Then when we take the steps properly and everything we do is in a normal way, we don't get mad at the caterer, we don't get angry at the florist, whatever it is, right? If the garment that we have that where this has a little stain on it, we don't go berserk, we don't go. But if we treat everything properly, we give charity to all of the workers, then when you actually reach the goal, you'll appreciate that more. Our goal, of course, what we're talking about is building the Holy Temple, in this case, dividing the land of Israel. Dividing the land of Israel, in order to appreciate this, so all the steps taken to that end are also have to be appreciated. That's why it says that even the lots called out, even the seemingly insignificant preparatory stages are important as the result is. See if we can actually add on that since that God made the nature of things, that before you reach any goal over in Kodam, you have to have, first of all, a preparation and and what is it? Preparatory steps. I can't think of another word of the Okama. So maybe you have to have many stages of preparation in order should be the ha'olam, in order that the person should get accustomed to this thing, whatever he's going to do. But like it says, yes, a kli, you have to make a vessel for the light. That's supposed to be ideally the idea of going to university. You learn how to be a doctor. People aren't naturally doctors. You learn how to be a doctor. You learn how to be a lawyer. You learn how to be a technician. You have to learn. Then when you learn, then you can become an expert at the thing. You have to fix up the vessel first. And therefore, Gam also, that's the way the world works. Therefore, the Rebbe is telling us, the Torah is telling us that all of these preparatory steps, achanas v'hakdamos, they themselves should reach an order. Therefore, all the preparations themselves should have should reach to an appreciation, an absorbing of the whole topic in an inner way, a personal way. For instance, to be a doctor, why you be a doctor? Make a good living. You get honor from people. You're important. You have a nicer house. You get a better wife. This. But is that the real reason for being a doctor? Those things are okay. The real reason for being a doctor is you love life. You love health. You want there to be health. The real reason for being a lawyer, you love justice. You love truth. That's supposed to be the idea. Right? Being a politician, you want to serve the people. That's supposed to be the idea. Lochen, therefore, therefore, if all the preparations are done in a proper way, then the goal itself is important, and all of the steps also have an importance to themselves. Me'en chashiv was something like the importance of the goal, tachlit hamakuvim, whatever you're going for. So therefore, let's take the example again of a doctor, if he's really interested in healing people, then every step that he takes, every detail that he learns is another step to being able to really truly heal people. So every step becomes meaningful to him. So you have to do this in the ultimate complete way, before you reach the goal. So here we're talking about taking the land of Israel, and of course, we're mainly talking about the Moshiach. That's the whole goal of Judaism. So just as it is in education. Since that education is a preparation, but a necessary preparation for doing the commandments, so therefore, then the education itself, learning about the commandments, for instance, is an importance to itself. It's not just get it out of the way so we can get to the goal. For Adarav, even more, but Mida Mesiyama in a certain way, Harizenala, this is higher than the commandment. Like we said before, you have to give yourself over to learning about what to do with all of the possible importance, because in some ways, learning about what to do is more important than doing it itself. In some ways, just giving the example. Let's say a doctor. The guy's a doctor, and he becomes a doctor. All of a sudden, he gets hit in the head or something. He wakes up. He forgets everything he knows. Now he still is a doctor. He still wants to heal people, but he forgot. So now, what's the most important thing? The fact that he's a doctor, and let's say he might even know what to do, but he doesn't remember the reasons. He doesn't remember the whole process. Right? He goes, he knows where to cut, and he does it, but he knows how the heart works and why it works. He just knows mechanically what to do. Just knows mechanically what to do. Like a person, he knows how to type. He can type whole speeches in French, but doesn't understand French. He just sees the letters, and so he prints it, and he can type. So he knows what to do with it. A person like that, a doctor like that, let's see, he forgets everything. So he's missing 90% of what he's doing. Right? True, he's doing it, but especially if you forgot the reason why he's doing it. Just do this, and you're doing it to heal people. You forgot that. It's the same thing in some ways, the learning and the process, the preparation of a thing, the steps necessary to achieve a goal, the steps in some ways are even more important than the goal itself. And even in a deeper way, kavana. So let's talk about the big picture. Why are we here in the world? In order to make God a dwelling in this physical world. This is kavana achas. This is one intention, mehashem echad, from the one God. Nosef lazeh. In addition to this, shekol davar, that everything in the world was created from the essence of God. But the idea of making a dir of a tachtonin, this is the one goal. Shehu levadai, the God he's got the power and the ability to create something from nothing. Umiloi kavanazu, and filling this intention in a complete way, mitbatzet, can be carried out by means of all of the details involved in the world. Tachtonim, that was we said before. God wants a dwelling place in this physical world, so we have to take in account all of the details of the world, kolel, including also things which are only just a preparation, l'hakdama l'inyan acher, for something else. Right? You want to learn the Torah, you have to have a book. You have to have a book. You have to have a printing house. You have a printing house. You have to have the materials. You have to have paper. You have to have metal. You have to have ink. You have to have people who know how to do it. But the whole goal of the thing is just the book, and even more to learn what it says in the book. But all of the steps that were there to have you have to have the book, and you have to have the paper, and you have to have the printing house, you have to have the metal, you have to have the printer, you have to have all these things. Those things are also important. Those things are, in a way, no less important than the goal. Hari mitzad kavana zu, because all these things are used in order to make God a dwelling in the world. So it comes out that the printing house and the paper and the ink, they all become holy. And the metal and the trees that the paper comes from, and the ground that the ore, whatever the metal comes from, all these things suddenly become holy, all the details of the world. And holy just simply means that we see that they're being created by God, and we appreciate it. Yeshnu b'kol davar ba'olam. This is found in everything in the world, even in the most seemingly insignificant details. And all the preparations, there's the power of Ein Sof, the power of the essence of God, which is in the thing. She'osa davar, that makes everything, and that makes it into a true thing. Bal tachlit v'kavana, which has a purpose and a intention. And therefore, tzorech liot b'zeh, there has to be in this serving God completely. A machshava, dibur, ma'isa, thought, speech, and action in every aspect of your personality. Especially you can see this with people. You meet people. A lot of times you can think people, big deal. You meet a person, but every person is like a treasure house of experience and emotions and intellect. Right? And even sometimes even people that are not normal. You get people that are crazy. Sometimes from those people can come gems of wisdom, right? And ideas. Over practice, I know the Professor Viktor Frankl, he writes that sometimes from the people that were total, they had like IQs of 3, whatever, people that were just totally, he says sometimes just the sweetness of those people, the appreciation that they had, the look in their eyes of appreciation when you do something from them, said that it's just incomparable. You can't find that by any other human being in the world. This nifal gam also, so this gives a value to everything that happens, every detail in the world, al derech kafi shehu benogea laklalo seder ishtalshlos, like it is in the whole order of the creation. The whole order of the creation is only just a means to get to this world, right? Yeah, right. But on the other hand, appreciating the levels of creation, that gives us more an appreciation of God. Therefore, the levels of creation, the spiritual worlds, they become important also. But that by means of making a dwelling for God in this world, like we said before, using your thought, speech, and action with every detail of your personality, every detail of the world that you encounter, this comes because that God reveals himself in these upper worlds. So appreciating the upper worlds, that becomes also like steps to the goal. The goal is making everything in the world, how do you say, announce God's existence. But we have to appreciate everything, including the upper worlds. This is by means of Gilik Kohen, by revealing the power of Ein Sof also in the upper worlds. That's why it says it's a good thing that everybody should know at least something about the ideas of Kabbalah, the 10 sfirot of God. Because by means of this, it gives us a little bit of an idea of God's infinity. Because he can create so many different worlds and so many different aspects, and everything has its own special message. Even though that on themselves, the upper worlds are just like a step. It's just like an insignificant step in creating the world. That's not what God really wants, the upper worlds. He wants this world. The upper worlds are just like a preparation. Says the Rebbe, yes, you're right. They're not as significant as this world, but they are significant. They bring to this world, and every step to a goal is in some way as important as the goal. So the upper worlds are a step to this world. Okay, according to this, now we can learn by how to serve God in place and in time, as we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. And now, Yom Yom.